Unfortunately, because of mainstream Christianity and most people's desire to make up their own way to salvation, the true religion is being rejected by the majority of people. The whole reason Jehovah God allowed sinful man to exist this long is because he has an issue to solve, and that is to prove beyond a doubt that mankind cannot rule themselves. The entire story of the temptation of Eve raised the question, should mankind decide for themselves what is right or wrong, or would the world be better off if they let God decide what was right or wrong? But the majority of humans today still want to decide for themselves what is right or wrong, so they do not recognize the true religion if they heard about it and it was proven to be the true religion. Instead, people like on Quora like to ask questions that show that they are not looking for the true religion. So to answer your question, if one religion was the true religion, and I believe there is a true religion, then most people would not follow it. The true religion would be a religion that for starters would read and study the Bible every time they met instead of attending some church service. The true religion would not believe in hell, since the original Bible in Greek had no word for hell. There is no such a thing called hell. I find that people on Quora are obsessed with hell. I think a lot of them would like to go to hell. How absurd is that? The real religion would have an understanding of the Bible instead of the pagan myths that mainstream Christianity teaches. In fact, most people have nothing short of disdain for worshippers of truth. The true religion would preach 100% what the Bible teaches. The Bible does not teach that we have an immortal soul. It teaches that all people who have died remain dead until the coming resurrection on a paradise earth. In fact, most religious people have no idea that the whole message of the Bible is to restore the earthly paradise, and not that everyone who thinks they believe in Jesus will end up in heaven. Luke chapter 12 verse 32. Do not fear, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. This scripture tells us two things. That the amount of people going to heaven are very few, and this scripture tells what those few who go to heaven will do, and that is to be rulers of a kingdom that will rule over the earth. Revelation chapter 5:9. And they sing a new song, saying, You are worthy to take the scroll and open its seals, for you were slaughtered, and with your blood you bought people for God out of every tribe and tongue and people and nation. 10. And you made them to be a kingdom and priests to our God, and they are to rule as kings over the earth. What would be the point of ruling over the earth if everyone dies and goes to heaven? Are not worldly politicians ruling over the earth today and always have? So it stands to reason that if Jehovah God's kingdom is going to rule over the earth someday, then there would be some major changes during that rule. We have a world of people claiming some sort of faith but live immoral lives and do care to live up to Bible standards. True religion would full of people who love each other and refuse to join the military. If the world really did follow the true religion, there would be an end to war, crime, immorality, rage or anger, greed and poor people. If you read the New Testament, especially the book of Acts, you would see that everyone was willing to sell house and possessions to take care of the poor. We live in a world that loves animals but would not lift a finger to help a fellow man or woman in need. Psalms 37:8. Let go of anger and abandon rage. Do not become upset and turn to doing evil. 9. For evil men will be done away with, but those hoping in Jehovah will possess the earth. 10. Just a little while longer, and the wicked will be no more. You will look at where they were, and they will not be there. 11. But the meek will possess the earth, and they will find exquisite delight in the abundance of peace. 29. The righteous will possess the earth, and they will live forever on it. Why would the above scripture talk about living forever on earth if it were not true? The fact is that when people talk about heaven, they always refer to earthly things. The only reason people today do not think of living on earth forever is because of the deplorable condition it is right now. But that is all going to change, because the above scripture specifies that only the meek will be on that earth. Also, the scripture talks about exquisite delight in the abundance of peace. Does that not describe a paradise? And yet few people listen. I would tend to say yes, and partly for that reason, I'm mostly convinced that every organized religion has only a portion of the truth. This idea was supported in a YouTube video interviewing a person who'd had a near-death experience, NDE. The man was of all things a Catholic priest. But he said, after his experience on the other side, he came to see that faith, i.e. organized religion, is just a crutch or a kind of childish view of what really awaits us in the afterlife. In other words, organized religion is just a guess, or maybe a vague reminder, of a greater reality. But if you've had an NDE, then you maybe have a real sight of what this reality actually is. In the meantime, organized religion gives us a glimpse here, a glimpse there, but none of it is really complete and accurate, and so none of it has a monopoly on the truth. No, quite simply, people don't believe in religions because they are the truth, but because they think it is the truth. And that's not precisely the same thing. And it is pretty obvious that they are convinced of that for bad reasons. I mean, even if one religion was the truth, then, quite clearly, all others are not, so even in the best-case scenario, you have billions of people having the wrong belief. Also, when believers are asked about actual evidence for their claims, which would basically be the only good reason to believe something, they are incapable of providing any good evidence. No, I do not believe so. There is not full consensus or unity even among those who claim to be following the same religion. It depends a lot on motives and motivation, commitment. Furthermore, there seems to be a sizable gap between being a fan or a true disciple. A person may pay lip service, but not be a devoted follower of the faith. Also, there are those who don't join in simply because they are rebels and want to be different. Those, perhaps, who want to play the devil's advocate. Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father, except through me." He also said, "Straight is the gate and narrow is the way, and few there be that find it."